This person is going to kill me one day for my That's that trait you need to learn to break. So now how do you practice developing financial stability? I'll give you maybe 1 or 2 tricks you can do. The first thing is when you're eating food, leave even 2 or 3%. That 1 spoon, the last spoon, leave it on the plate. That last spoon is not what's going to make you full, but it's going to be a challenge for your mind to leave, because you need to build the capacity to hold if you're going to be financially stable, because we have income, expenses, liabilities, and assets. A person who does not control his desires will become a liability to himself, and he will accumulate liabilities. He's going to borrow here, pay here, borrow there, pay there, because he's not financially stable. And note, once you're financially stable, not rich, financially stable, you can marry, because you know how to control your desire. If you can control your desire, if you make 5,000 rand, you'll be able to keep your spending by 4,000. But a person who can't control their desire, when they see someone driving a car, now he wants to get a car. He wants to finance a car, he wants to buy a house, because he has not managed his desire. A person who does not manage his desire will get hit by it's called social pressure. I've helped some doctors with their finance. I know a doctor who was the CEO at the hospital, making so much money, but he had 2 bonds, financed car for himself, his wife, all the kids went to private schools, so he was broke, but he was a doctor. So what he used to do is when he gets his salary, he pays the bond, he pays everything, he borrows money to live, but he buy food at Woolworths. He doesn't go to Pick and Pay. No, that's called social pressure. You only subjected to that if you haven't developed the first thing, emotional intelligence. Number 2, financial stability, the desire, the managing of your own desires. I'm gonna go quick. Number 3, you can't get into marriage if you don't have a goal. Imagine we watched soccer for 90 minutes, but they removed the goalpost. Would it make sense? No one would watch the game. The purpose of the game is that one team can win and the other can lose. Now, a person who does not have a goal in life, it's like people playing soccer with no end goal. So as a man, it doesn't have to be a career, it can be business, but whatever it is, you have to have a goal, because a goal gives you direction. You can't tell me you want to get married and I ask you, name your 3 goals for the year, and you don't have. And don't say marriage is a goal. Don't have marriage as your goal. You need to develop goals for your life. When I'm saying goals, you need to set that by 2025, this is what I expect from myself. By 2030, this is what I expect from myself. When you start to think in years and in goals, then you're building the characteristics for someone who can get married. So the first thing we spoke about, emotional maturity, financial stability, and having goals. Whether you say I'm going to be a doctor, whether you're saying I'm going to be a businessman, that is something that gives you orientation. Because when you meet a wife, a helper, they can't come help someone who's doing nothing. They come and they support you in the vision that you already have. Okay, the next thing is spiritual growth, right? I myself am a Christian, but I have friends who are Muslims, who are Hindu. I would never force my religion on anyone, but I would always force someone to tap into the supernatural. You know, in this world we live, you can argue with the scientists, but you can never argue the results. If someone can show you the demonstration of power, it must challenge the way you think. Okay, so in your journey to marriage, you need to grow spiritually. Because the world we live in, imagine you work so hard, but they just go to some cheap witch in the corner, and now they've cursed your whole life. The efforts you are doing, you're seeing no return. It's because you don't understand that in the world we live, there's the physical, but there's also the spiritual. A man who's looking to get married needs to grow spiritually, or your girlfriend is going to go to some nyanga in the corner, and from that day, you can't say no to her anymore. Why? Because you're spiritually weak. So all these things are things you need to be thinking about consciously when you're thinking about marriage and growing yourself. Number 5 is your health and your well-being, right? These are practical things. You don't need to pay for a gym membership to be healthy. You don't need to be rich to eat healthy. There's simple things that you are not doing now that are going to affect you in 10, 20, 30 years. They're going to even affect you in your marriage, in the bedroom. But you're not thinking of those things, drinking drinks every day, not doing push-ups, not jogging. You know, sometimes people, when they come to me and they ask me for guidance, it's those small, simple things that have a compounding effect in someone's life. If I said, how many of us have the space to do a push-up? All of us have the space. How many of us are doing push-ups? You see, but you want to be a millionaire, you want to be rich, you have these big aspirations. But if you can just show me your day, from the time you wake up to the time you sleep, I can tell you then if you're going to succeed or not. Because many of you want to succeed by chance. That's why you start to gamble. You think Forex is a gamble. You don't succeed by chance. You need to understand it's small decisions. Waking up, doing some push-ups, taking a jog. Those things, they will pay you back in 10, 20 years when you are 50, 60, and you still have strength in your body. The next thing is, let me just stop here. There's a lot more, but this is the last one I'm gonna talk about. Now, this one is called character development. It's different from being rich, having money, having good health. But if you have a weak character, there's only so far you're gonna go in your life, right? Because the main point here is, we come from a society where a lot of people are broken and they don't have character values that can lead them to the next phase of their life, assuming that is marriage. Now, if someone has all the capacities, the money and everything, but does not have the character to go with it, you're going to end up making women pregnant or doing things that don't really benefit society as a whole. So it's important for a man to develop good character. What is good character? Is living by values. It's this concept of, people always expect the solution to be something amazing, like take this thing, press 2 times, put it on your tongue, and your life is going to be okay. But no, it's simple. Telling the truth. Are you someone who's honest? Are you someone who tells the truth? It's those small things that will distinguish you from the average person. And it's okay, even if you come from Elokshin, you come from the worst of places, and you grew up knowing that lying is a way to hustle, or that I lie my way to the top. All those things can be unlearned by learning new things. So my challenge for you today is to take those steps that I said, and hopefully, because we're going to be doing this more, we'll start coming with books to take notes and learn, because the purpose of a conversation is, one, to share ideas, but it's also to capture things that can change your life. So if you're taking, I like the people who are taking videos, if you're taking video of this, I want you to sit on character development. Develop your character to a point where you are happy with yourself, where you can stand in the mirror and say, I'm an honest person, I have integrity, I understand how to be with other people, I've developed my communication skills. Now, when you start to work on those characters and the other things that I've said, you'll start to see that you become a man that attracts a certain type of woman. Because marriage is 2 ways. There's the woman and then there's you. When you develop yourself, you start to attract the right things. If in your life women that are right are not coming to you, you need to ask yourself, what type of man are you? Because if you're not a man that can attract a submissive woman, that means you haven't developed the characteristics to cultivate that type of woman. Does that make sense? Yes, because you need to be a man. For marriage, you have to be a man who cultivates. There is no woman in the world, I'm saying this boldly, there is no woman in the world that you will meet and they are ready for marriage. There's no woman, especially in the taste you will have. But when you meet the woman, if you can find at least the characteristic of a wife, the characteristic of a wife is humility. If you can find humility in a woman, it is now your job. No matter how indisciplined she is, no matter what family she came from, it is your duty as a leader to cultivate her. Are we together? Yeah. So now let me just drop it here. So my advice for all of us here is that in our pursuit for marriage, it must be a pursuit to the self. So how you chase something in life is by becoming something that thing is going to attract itself to. The mindset of I'm going to find a wife, I'm going to search, I'm going to chase, is going to keep you working on the external things, but not working on yourself. But when you understand that in this realm of life, we attract things to ourselves. So if you want to attract marriage, become a man worthy of marriage. Or else what you're going to become is a part of the problem. You're going to be that father someone wished they never had. Are we